Hello everyone and welcome back to the Super Smash Bros. Cinematic Universe Box Office Records. And what's this? Some wild news appears. Pokemon Legends ZA is out officially October 16th of 2025. And that's not all, as a Pokemon Presents was announced for July in May. This is officially the second time this year they announced the second Direct before the first. Yeah, I'm referring to the Switch 2 Direct before the first Switch Direct. And now they announced the Pokemon Presents before the June Direct. And at the time of this recording, it is now 3 days away from the release of Switch 2. Well, how about that? Now after that interesting news bit, let's take a look at domestic. And a Minecraft movie has $422,955,000. I mean, it makes sense. The theater count has gone below 1,000. We're at 824 now. To put things into perspective, it took 2 months and a few weeks to get where we are in a Minecraft movie for Mario. So my guess is that this run is not going to last a whole month. I give it 3 weeks tops, and that makes sense, honestly, because the DVD is out on the 24th. But now I gotta show you what's quirky and international this week. Yep, as you can see here, the great shrinkening has happened to Minecraft as well. Because this week, a Minecraft movie has 518,962,554. with a difference of 215,789. Yeah, well, what about Sonic 3? Well, it has 253,577,372. The difference this week is far less alarming, with 16,583. Are they just doing refunds overseas or something? I don't get this. I hope the tariffs are not involved. Oh boy. Well, let's see what the damage did to worldwide. Well, at least the music never changes, because a Minecraft movie has 941,917,554. This week, Sonic 3 has 489,692,472. Yeah, it lost 16,583 from last week. Well then, how about we change things up a bit and have the next episode of Secret Level, episode 15. This time, introducing a new genre and the first actual anime analyzed on this channel. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Heiankyu Alien and Game Center Arashi. And I'll see you at upcoming TV shows and movies. The next game we are having a look at is also from 1979, but this time from the University of Tokyo's Theoretical Science Group. It was developed initially for the computer as Heiankyu Alien and is known universally as the first ever maze chase game, where your goal is to clear the maze of the pursuers themselves. The Theoretical Science Group was established back in 1959 by Toshiyasu Kuni, who was once a student in the Department of Chemistry. Remember, computing was at its infancy at the time, focusing primarily on computer science and soldering, among other similar activities. After the success of Space Invaders, the video game market began to cool off. At the point, a column in Weekly Asahi magazine named Deki Gotoruji appeared, which ran a feature named In Search of the Next Space Invaders, based around the company visiting several different computer clubs across the country in search of potential games that could topple the success of Space Invaders. After visiting the Todai PC Club in the University of Tokyo and finding their game to be uninspiring, they soon visited the Theoretical Science Group, only to have the same reaction. Over the course of 2 days, the group held meetings on the first floor of the Student Union building to brainstorm potential game ideas. The beginnings of what would become Heiankyu Alien started as simply an idea conceived by Itaru Kawakami, with the game themed around the player laying down traps in a house to catch cockroaches, feeling that the idea gave the player too much free movement. So instead, it was revised to make the playfield resemble a Go or Weichi board. Though, of course, one movie came out that shifted the production in another direction. Yeah, Ridley Scott's Alien from May 25th of 1979. With that kind of cinematic influence, the cockroaches were easily changed to aliens. The Go-like board was slightly tweaked to resemble a cityscape after multiple real-world areas were suggested, such as Kyoto, Japan, and San Francisco, California. The team ultimately decided to base it on the capital city of Heiankyu, with the player being changed to a Heian period police officer. So 1794 to 1185 AD. This idea was submitted to Weekly Asahi, who published it in their column shortly after. Not wanting their idea to go to waste, the group began programming the game on an Apple II computer, but it suffered from bad optimization and long load times. It was then reworked using the computer's low-resolution mode, which replaced all the in-game graphics with colored blocks. Eat that, PC Master Race! Apple was the game computer originally. Here's the final pitch. 1,000 years ago, the city of Kyo was suddenly invaded by aliens. A Kabishi, which is a knight of the past, was entrusted to defend the city. The game starts with a maze, where the Kabishi and some aliens appear. The aliens start moving through the maze wherever they please. While trying to keep them from being eaten, the Kabishi digs holes where the aliens will likely travel. If an alien comes to a finished hole, it will fall in and be trapped for a while. While the alien is trapped in the hole, you can fill the hole to bury it. If all aliens are buried, the round ends, and you can proceed to the next round. As for what you're burying with, well, it wasn't an iron shovel, as those were invented in 1774. After this idea for the game was published in Weekly Asahi, the Japanese game studio Denki Onkyo Corporation approved of the game and hired the group to work for them and make it a full game. Prior to this, the Theoretical Science Group briefly visited Namco and Sega, who also expressed interest in the game. Remember, those two companies are forever connected when it comes to existence, whereas development for the game lasted for roughly 3 months. Programmers coded the game on a Z80 assembler, like Galaxian, where another would take the code, burn it to a ROM board, and test the program to make sure it worked. Fun fact, a candy power-up item that caused all aliens to stop moving for a brief moment of time was an homage to the Kuchisaki Onna yokai from Japanese folklore. But unfortunately, this feature was later scrapped as it complicated the game's controls. But I'm sure that a certain game will be using this later on. Wink wink. Instead, a time limit was added to prevent the game from going on forever, while the map was slightly modified to keep the game from becoming too boring. The player's death animation
depicting an angel floating up off the screen, was made as a last-minute addition by request of Heiankyu. The game was originally subtitled Otoshiana Game, meaning Pitfall Trap Game, which was cut later on. Heiankyu Alien was released first for the Apple II, then the arcade, back in November of 1979 in Japan. A PC 8000 series version was also made that same year. However, when it came to the United States, it was called Digger, and was published by Sega and Gremlin in September of 1980. The arcade version uses a Zilog Z80 microprocessor, like Galaxian, though none of the original Japanese cabinets by Heiankyu exist in arcades today, as the system boards were copies of a copy created by other companies. Heiankyu Alien or Digger began a genre about digging holes and luring enemies into traps, variously called trap 'em up or digging games. Naturally, it was widely successful when it was first released, being praised for its originality and element of strategy. But the game had a little help, thanks to a little-known manga from COBBLEMON Comic by the name of Game Center Arashi. And Storm is the meaning for Arashi. It's manga, and by extension, it's anime, were some of the first forms of fictional media for gaming ever. In fact, the anime has the hallmark of being the first ever anime that features a gamer as the main protagonist. And its manga form is written by Mitsuru Suguya, which ran in COBBLEMON Comic from 1978 to 1984. Whereas the anime by Shin-ei Animation ran April 5th, 1982 to September 27th of 1982 and had 26 episodes. Now, the one episode I'd like to focus most on is number 6, the one that aired May 10th of 1982, called Destruction Alien Affair, and it featured versions of the aliens from Heiankyu Alien. Because of this, in the manga, the game sales soared. For this, we can certainly thank Game Center Arashi. Now that was a lot of fun to make. And there's a little more to that story where that came from next week. But first, we have some business with Super Mario World, which is coming out April 3rd of 2026 by Universal Illumination. Followed by Sonic the Hedgehog 4, coming out March 19th, 2027 by Paramount and Skydance. After that, we have Legend of Zelda movie, coming out a few days later on March 26th of 2027 by Sony and Nintendo. The rumor is McKenna Grace is in the running to play Zelda, and Walker Scobell is in the running to become Link. Both good choices. I liked Walker in Adam Project with Ryan Reynolds, and McKenna Grace is fantastic in the second Ghostbusters reboot. And it only makes sense. I mean, she worked with Sony before, she might as well work with them again. And also their age ranges work. McKenna is 18 and Walker is 16. It works. And on top of that, Walker has protagonist cred being Percy Jackson on Disney+. But who are they gonna get for Impa? Or Ganon? Or is this movie even about Ganon? Is this going to be Skyward Sword? The actual beginning of the timeline? Hey, the more Ballad of the Goddess, the better. Though down the line, I would love to see Twilight Princess on the big screen. Just saying! Then again, I do have to wonder what are the games that they're going to have for the next secret level of Season 2. By Amazon Prime, now we come to the films with no release date. Namely, Metal Gear Solid by Sony, Detective Pikachu 2 by Warner Brothers and Legendary, Mega Man by Netflix, Pac-Man by Fox and Wayfarer Studios, and Street Fighter by Sony and Legendary. Hopefully we get Pokemon movie news in July. Please! We don't need just Legends ZA. That would be nice to have that,
But please, movie news, please. And of course I know that ZA is going to be shown because it's coming out in October. I know. Then again, we could learn something about the live-action Pokemon series featuring Red by Netflix. Or maybe sometime this year we'll learn about the Minecraft animated series by Netflix. A lot of hopes, not a lot of guarantees. And we are done. If you like what you see, press like, subscribe, and smash that bell in order to get notifications on the channel where everything grows on you.